Okay, it seems like I'm back on. Okay, something happened, like all the energy and Wi-Fi went out, and so it got disrupted. So, okay, we're back now. But it's very clear that Richard, was calling the CPS, calling Child Protective Services, FBI Houston, which is uh, human trafficking, right? FBI Houston is human trafficking. Washington, D.C., and CID, the IG, and also he even called 911 multiple times. So he was fearing for his life. He was under security watch. He went and bought a pistol just days before. Um, so he was absolutely fearing for his life. He asked for transfers and was denied. Um, we know that for a fact. That's been corroborated. Asking for transfers out of that unit. And, we also know about the incidences. So, Dallas Hart, being Richard's platoon leader, it's just corroborated, right? And now connecting the the businesses of exploiting the soldiers when they are coming in many, many different ways, in many ways. And this is a failure of leadership to protect our soldiers. And then to know that the suspects are a part of a criminal group from the original response team is frightening. It really is frightening. And you see that with the rumors going around, and there are rumors, and what we'll see with the investigation. But people are fearful because they've seen it happen, that there is a rogue group that may choose to not do their duty, and that is why that shooting assassination attempt went as far as it did in President Trump's case. That there was a rogue group, you know, a failure, a failure there. Now that is just an allegation. That's rumors going around, and we will see. But when you look at the video, when you look at all these other videos, that needs to all those need to be validated. Who are these people? You cannot get a witness and not look them up anymore, who they are, because we learned that with Ernest Christopher Grant, who is totally up to no good, right? Up to no good, and really caused total chaos, and really a false narrative for the Walmart mass shooting case of August 2019. And he was even arrested, right? So, he's a criminal. He's a total criminal. And they were using him as a media sweetheart to form a narrative, to frame a narrative around the Walmart mass shooting. And, and even victimized him, right? And I'm not saying he wasn't a victim, but they really played that up and used him as a sweetheart. But we know that he was up to no good, and what he said was absolutely outrageous and not true. And if I was Patrick Crusius, but Patrick Crusius is not even given the platform that he should get to defend himself. So, because they don't do anything, they don't even do a mental health evaluation on him, and we're into 5 years. We're coming up to the 5-year anniversary. And so, the public sees this kind of law enforcement um, uh, breaches, you know, uh, and they absolutely then question everything, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. So we've questioned everything in Richard's case, and our cup is running over with evidence, hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, and irregularities. And they declare Richard murdered, murdered on Fort Bliss. Being forcibly removed from his barracks room, being in uniform, y'all, and then brutally um, disposed of. And um, this is corroborated by different individuals also. And so we want Richard's remains. We told the CAO officer, the casualty affairs officer, that we would take partial remains. Can you believe it? That we have to discuss this kind of stuff with our casualty affairs officer, and that we want justice for Richard. We want the Army to do what's right for Richard. And so we're taking next steps. We have the receipts now that absolutely declare him deceased, declare him murdered on Fort Bliss, and we're moving forward to receive the remains. That's our goal, and to get accountability for those that perpetrated this terrible crime on a whistleblower, on a whistleblower. So, and the trail left for proof, because you want to have the proof, you want to have the receipts, right? That's what they call them, receipts. You want to have the receipts. Well, a big help of that is these LLCs, because you have to be registered. You have to, list your employees. You have to pay the taxes. You have to operate legally, right? And that all, in order to operate any kind of business legally, there has to be a paper trail, documentation. Because this one good thing about taxes is it leaves behind a lot of information about each business. And so in this case, that's a good thing. Can you believe, um, I never ever thought that I would say, oh yeah, I like taxes for this reason, um, for the paper trail in exposing the connections between those that were just up to no good in Richard's case. And the connections are absolutely jaw dropping, and we'll be giving you that as soon as a few more things happen that need to happen before we can go public. But I wanted to just give you this tip, uh, because our team from Richard Halliday is so resourceful, and they know things, and they know they're from El Paso, and they know um, how the soldiers are being exploited, and they know these different LLCs. They know them. And so we wanted to, put that information out there so that, the communion of the saints working together to expose people that want to hurt El Paso, that have hurt El Paso, and has cost El Paso loads of money, and loads of heartache, and loads of life. So that is really important. So I would think that someone, before buying the gun and asking for transfers, he might have just called his mom. And he did. He called my dad, and he called um, my husband. But this is the thing. There was a lot of conning going on. Okay. They exploit these soldiers, and they are so cunning that they defraud them, and it's shameful. And when you get young men that have been conned, okay, you're young, you're 18, you're 20, you're 21, and you think, man, I don't want to tell my parents that I was defrauded. And you try to make the most of it. And so we've got some proof of that. Um, and that is very, very important in all of this. And it really explains, uh, well, we know they were up to no good. We knew about Boleyn. We we knew about Boleyn, and that's how we uh, got her phone number and called. She reached out to us. I didn't know how old she was. When I found out how old she was, I really cried. Um, and I know that Richard did not look on her favorably. Okay, I know this by the recently uh, going through his things, and of course found we found information, and he he warned her because she was being exploited. But these rumors of him having, you know, uh, how can you say this? Um, he, when you're trying to protect a young mother and you're being conned and you realize you're being conned, and you're still trying to do what's right for her. It's very hard to explain because there's mercy and grace in there, and there's love in there. It's a love that's not an eros love, It's um it's a caring love. And that's why she couldn't understand him and said, "You're so weird." Because these sex cult people, that's all they care about. There's no love in them. It's just exploiting and self fulfillment. It's not about being selfless. It's very, very difficult to explain without giving some things away that, might hurt people. And so, yeah, I really, because I know she's up to no good. We know that she's up to no good because she's been exploited. And it's really sad. You can't be happy about it. You can't be mad about it. We don't want to be vindictive about it. We want justice to happen. And justice is a very beautiful thing, a very kind thing, because it gives people second chances. In Richard's case, with the premeditated murder, the death penalty is on the table. And you would think, okay, how can that justice be like a second chance? Well, it might not be for the life of that person to go on like it is going on. It is for El Paso. it is for the community. It's for Fort Bliss. It's for the children that um, come after, that grow up. That justice, it has to happen. There has to be a break in this vicious cycle of very vile and vulgar criminality. And, those that took Richard's life, that participated in the cover up of it, the cover up of his remains, I we have to have accountability there for the health, the mental health, the societal health of Fort Bliss and El Paso. So, and of course our family. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm just thinking of everything that is going on with the national level. And I'm hearing, oh my gosh, that we would have security breaches that would allow an assassination attempt. And I can say, yeah, we have a systemic security breaches on our military installations. We know that because of Austin Hawk, of Enrique Roman Martinez, of Caleb Smither. I mean, in fifth stage of decomposition while you're in your room and no one's checking, that's a security breach. Richard being forcibly taken when he's supposed to be under 24-hour security detail watch because he's a whistleblower, that's a security breach. And what came after is a major security breach. The young girls living on military installations being pimped out, living in the barracks being pimped out, that's a security breach. 85,000 missing children from the emergency intake center, that's a security breach. And it goes on and on. So, if we were a very poor country and that it was not being funded, then, okay, maybe you could expect some security breaches. But we're $1 trillion military. They do not lack any funds. There is no lack of funding. There's just a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. And so we absolutely have to have accountability to end this, on and on and on, fraud, waste, and abuse. You see, yes, I hear you. Yes, the bigger issue is the shooting attempt that left at least one American dead, plus critically injured. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the attempt and leaving a person dead and the people, I guess the left or his opponents are not freaking out because of that. What they're freaking out about is that he showed so much strength. You see, he didn't act a victim. He didn't cower in the face of danger. And that's what they're freaking out about. So, and And I think that that goes to Richard's case. It goes to our investigation, years of being retaliated against and threatened and harassed, vile and vulgar harassment. I just can't even tell you. Um, and now that we're getting national institutional support, and that that national organization just now contacted us as advancing, and then corroborated that the next day that they are advancing. Um, and then, of course, receiving the declaration of death, which is the, what bigger form of proof for national support um, do you want? I mean, that's where the institutional support is right in our face, right? They gave us the declaration of death. They gave us the right to be Richard. That's what they did. That's huge because there's a lot of investigating going on because of that we couldn't do before. So, yeah. Uh-oh. It's just you and me this evening. By the way, I still want full investigation because I'm not the biggest fan of Trump's lack of. Well, it doesn't. Trump's whole case, they turn it into, whether they like him or not. And it's the same thing with Richard's case. They turned it into whether they liked him or not. Oh, I didn't like him, so, it's like that MP. Oh, why should we look for him? I don't like him. Really? How do you know? Did you know him? Oh, no, I got it from the guard mount. Oh, okay. So you're going to judge Richard, a missing soldier, on what the guard mount said, and then throw your whole duty overboard because whether the MP liked Richard or not, he needed to look for him. He needed to look for him. And whether the command liked Richard or not for, exposing them in his whistleblowing reports, it didn't matter. They had to look for him, and they had to contact our family, and they had to carry out the investigation as the UCMJ, as their training and everything tells them to do, and they didn't. And what did they tell me? Oh, did you know? They were trying to get us not to do our duty as parents by saying, did you know that your son is an atheist? And I'm like, no, but who cares? We are Richard's parents. We don't, let's find him. He's young, 18 years old, 20 years old, just turned 21 years old, 18 to 21 in the military. Let's find him. And then, and then we can see what happened. Right? It's our duty as parents. Just because if in Richard's case, he's a total hero, right? He has nothing. They tried to. It's kind of like with Trump. People, what they have against him is, a personal issue. They have nothing legally. And so they make it a personal issue. Oh, yeah, I mean, they have been for years putting out the most vile, vulgar, violent memes and everything against him. Why? Because they don't like him. It's a personal issue. And these are people that have a duty. that we pay them to carry out their duty, and they break it. And that's the point with this whole thing. It's not a personality issue. It's not that I'm being a judge on who should get security protection or not, who should get looked for or not. It's we pay these people to protect, to be a response team. And for the like of Nick Brownbell or the anybody that's in a response team to um, breach their duty and smear and work against what they're supposed to be doing that we're paying them to do, is absolutely criminal. It's criminal. So, we can never carry out our justice system on a personality whim. That's, oh, he's poor, oh, he's rich, oh, he's short, he's tall, he's this, he's that. Who is deserving? No, I don't want unequal justice. And that's what we have right now. We have the weaponization of the system over and over again, and we have unequal justice. And that needs to end. So, is Dallas Hart watching? I don't know. Um, you know, the point of these live streams is absolutely to document everything that's happening in this case. And I'm here to document today that LLCs are part of Richard's case, that the Walmart mass shooting is part of Richard's case, that Richard is the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier because he is connected to the Vanessa Guillen case through Donna Martin, through the provost marshal, through the debacle that was going on at the time, that they didn't want another Guillen situation because they were losing their jobs. They were, under scrutiny, and because it was the same command. And this is a command that was getting what, $638,000 per investigator? Per investigator. And their excuse for their failure is, oh, we might not have enough resources. What? Look at the monies. Look at everything that we give. It was just absolutely a breach in security and a breach of trust, a breach of duty. And Donna Martin needs to be taken out of that uniform. Absolutely. So this is, you can't just forcibly take a soldier out of the barracks room and go and murder them and not be held accountable. So there is a lot of similarities with what is going on with Richard's case and what is going on with Trump's case. And a lot of similarities because of this unequal justice. And that's why, I put and I guess that's why God put it in my mind to think about Lady Justice there in El Paso and in her rightful place, October of 2014. And I think, that was a very, very good thing. And justice, it rolls slowly, but it grinds exceedingly fine. And we are slowly um, getting these grains of justice in this case. And we're just um, w- moving forward to get Richard's remains, be it partial. And it has brought us to this connection with several people in this criminal group that is part of the um, original response team, right? That are connected to LLCs. And yeah, we're very grateful for that trail, that paper trail. So thank you, everyone. Um, God bless you. It was a very productive day, even though it's a Sunday. Very productive day again. And we will be back on to give you more details about all the different connections that are starting to pull everything together. Um, but of course, we want to make sure and cooperate and make sure that we're giving you uh, information that comes from sources that have been validated, that have been verified, right? We don't want to be like Bob Moore of El Paso Matters that just frames narratives with unreliable sources and gives you fake stories. Fake stories. He gave you a totally fake story on Richard, and you know we have the receipts to prove it that it's a fake story. But he didn't want to even respond to us. So that's a disgraceful, disgusting, and discredited journalist. That's what that is. So thank you, everyone. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing.